Hello and welcome back everyone to the next episode on SAP Datasphere training with me Anubhav. In our last class we talked about how to perform currency conversion using SAP Datasphere technology. We also discussed about adding the hierarchy to our content. In addition, we have also learned about the concept of the basic idea of Python. We also learned how to create data flows and we saw the data flow using the standard technique, standard transformation technique. But in case if that is not self-sufficient for our requirement, we usually go with the technique 2, which is scripting based technique. So in addition to learn the scripting technique, we started the installation of VS Code, Python, setting up our environment variable for Python coding and tested our first Hello World program on Python. In continuation of that, now I will be going ahead and show you how to utilize the concept of Python for more advanced scripting. But before we start, let's have a look at the solution of a problem which we faced in the last class. So if you remember, I have created a hierarchy in the last session, and due to that hierarchy which I've created, I was not able to show the hierarchy to the user. So the issue here was basically we were using the store. We've created the hierarchy as a store table. I'll just go back and show you the hierarchy where we created a country, a city. So here we have country, state, city, and store ID. This was a hierarchy we created. And then on top of this, we created a view, and that view we were adding in the association. So ideally, when you have a hierarchy, the moment you create a view on top of it and use the view in association, the we will lose the information for the hierarchy actually. So what we should ideally do is we should basically directly reference the table in the association for the view. So what I will do is I'll go back to our sales order view, the transaction view, sorry, the sales transaction view, which we created. So you can also come here and search the object type as view, and system will filter all the views you see. So now we'll go to the transaction, store dimension, sales transaction view. And in this transaction view, if you notice, we had created the association with the store. You see, sales transaction to store association. So what you got to do is delete this association and change this association directly with the stored database table. So I go inside or I select and I will perform a delete. Select and just delete. And now I'll add another association very much directly to the store database table. Very nice. So you see now I added a store database table directly which has the hierarchy. I will just deploy this.
So Anubhav, already we created hierarchy on top of
Sorry,
table, right? No, we created hierarchy on top of table, right? Table
directly on
type.
top of table. The association is with the
Okay.
table. The association
Okay.
which you're
Got it.
creating is with the table. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is done. Now our next step will be to just go ahead and use this. So if you remember, we created an analytic model. How do you know which is the analytic model? You see dependent object. So here you see the analytic model, which is a dependent object. I mean, this view is being used by this guy. You can go there, click, it will open in new transaction, new window, and you see the name is AM stored transaction analytic model. So now what I will do is I'll go back to analytic cloud. I go to the canvas and I will add a table. with my connection, and we will use the analytic model. So we don't have to change analytic model, anything over there. We don't have to do anything over inside that. And now I will choose my filters, or I can ignore the filters. That's okay because we had added a filter. And now I will first add the revenue. And if you go to dimension now, voila, look at this. We've got a store ID. Hey, it's still not showing. Something is wrong, guys. Let me choose. You see, it is still not showing. There's something wrong. So maybe I'll quickly create a new view. Yes, I'll really go back, create a very new view.
Anubhav,
Sorry.
this is Rambabu. I think we need to refresh analytical model where every time whenever we make any changes underlying database tables,
Yes.
we need to select those changes again in the analytic model.
Yes,
That's
you are
what I
right.
observed.
You are right. You are right. So I go back to analytic model, but I actually don't see a refresh button here. If you
Yeah, refresh button, it is not there. Again, we need to drag and drop the same view which we make. The same view we can
okay,
drag and
understood. So
drop.
I deleted
By
it.
that way, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I also observed. And now I say drag drop the sales transaction again. And you see now it is showing the store with the store
Yes.
table. Yes, it's showing with the table now. So we say add everything and add everything, import. So you're right, you have to make a change. So unfortunately, you see the moment I deleted and recreated, it is giving me a new name. Yeah. Okay. I'll deploy new
Even
element.
we can find what are the objects selected by clicking on each
Double clicking on it,
dimension.
and then yes, that is one option we can do. Anyway, let's use this new one which we just deployed, and hopefully the hierarchy will be visible to us now. I'm going to switch over back, and we will see whether we can use the hierarchy or not. So we will come back, and over here we will just go back to SSE and create quickly a new story with the new model. So the moral of the story is not analytic model or not the view. The moral of the story is to use hierarchy. That's the requirement. So I add a chart, and now I'll go back to our connection 501. That's a number I have to use. And here we have our new model. Okay. So in this new model now, we will come back, choose the revenue and dimension. Yes, this time you see the hierarchy icon. If I choose store ID, you see it is showing all stores. Now the benefit of hierarchy, as you remember in the last class, it's a drill down. So I can drill down. You can see US. For the drill down after country, we should see states. So these are the US states. You can see Alaska, California, Colorado, Florida. If I go to Florida, I should see my city, Gainesville. Yes, here it is, my city, Gainesville. Yeah, so these are the cities. Now, if I go to Gainesville, what are the stores are there? There is only one store called Saffron Depot. So you can see now the name is also coming. Earlier, there was one more problem in the last class we saw. The name was not coming. Yes, only the store ID was coming, but now name is also coming. So this is how we inculcate the hierarchy to our view. So when you add association, add it directly with the table. However, it will not be very good approach to directly use a table because you know the isolation. If we change something in the table, it will disrupt things. Yeah, that's why we created views on top of table and reference the views. then Anubhav, isn't this a violation of best practice? Yes, it is. But for time being, I showed you the workaround. In the future classes, I'll show you something called business layer. Yes, remember data layer and business layer. So we're data modeler and business modeler in SAP DataSphere, right? So we are using data builder. We'll use soon the business builder. So I'll show you a better technique using business builder rather than data builder. We will learn that. Okay, now let's move on back. So this part is clear. The issue is solved. So let's come back now and start learning Python once again. So by far you saw in the previous episode, we learned about the basic hello world program and creation of variables in Python. Now our next exercise for today is working with string functions in Python. So one by one, I'll keep teaching you different Python coding and we will keep practicing them right away. By the way, this whole project will be shared with all of you in the study material. You guys can go and check that. Yeah, the study material. So I will go and add a new file now, 02 strings, working with string in Python, and we will start adding a string. So first let's add a string. So what is a string? Strings in Python are supported by single quote or double quote. So either you're using single quote or you are using double quote to work with the strings in Python. Yes, using these quotes we will support the strings. So let's have a look at the strings. So I will add a name and I'll say Fred. So that's a string, age 30. So age is a number and Fred, which is name, is a string. Now I can concatenate one string with another. So let's say print, and you can simply use plus operator to concatenate. So I can say hello, my name is, concatenate name. So just use plus symbol to concatenate a string like any other programming language. I am and I am, concatenate age. Now the problem is you are trying to concatenate age, yes, which is actually a number with a string, and computer will recognize and say that you can't do this because age is a number. So what typically we do in software industry, anyone in programming? Typecasting, very good answer. So we convert a number to a string so it can be concatenated. So we come here and now we will put basically str. Str is a inbuilt function which will convert this age to a number. So let me go ahead and show you now testing this. So we come down and we say cd, we are already there. So Python 02 tab 02 string py, enter. Okay, I forgot to save. You have to save the file first, very important, and then you can run. You see, my name is Fred and I'm 30. So this is converted to a string. So this is called typecasting, where you convert one data type to another. Now let's talk about string formatting, how to format strings. So we can actually also pass a string. So this is one way you can concatenate. But what you can also do is these are variables. You can directly inculcate a variable in a running string. So I say print and I will just come, my name is, curly braces, and in the curly braces now you can put this variable name. You can actually put Spider-Man also, up to you. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting spider here as a variable, and I am, curly braces again, let's say man, spider man. Now I know what is Spider-Man, but computer don't know, so you have to specify dot format, and in this format you have to say what is spider meaning. The value of the spider variable is coming from name. and value of main variable is coming from age. So that you have to do. So what happens when you run this application? This name value will be passed to a local variable called spider, and that value will be passed inside the running string. Then the age value will also be passed to a main variable which will be created, and the main variable will then be used inside the string. This concept is called string formatting. Let's run this. I keeps forgetting to save, and you see it's working. My name is Fred. This is second option. The third option to do this, which you will see many time people are using, is called f string, formatting string. So instead of writing this format, this big, it's very big to write, there is a easy technique. So print, and directly you can say f single quote, please format. And now you don't have to create extra variable like spider and main. You don't have to do that. You can directly use them. Your main variable, my name is name, and I am H. Let's come back and check. You see, the third one is also working. My name is Fred, I'm 30. So this is what preferably I will be using most of the cases, in coming sections. Yes. So this is how we can create a simple, simple string first of all. Now, what we can also do, we can perform string operation. There are many string operations you can perform. Like if I give a string, it can make it uppercase, lowercase, swap case, capitalize. Yes, and also calculate the length of the string. So let's talk about string general operations. So I'll create a string. So let's create a string s equal to Anubhav Oberoi. My name I'll put, and now I'll say print string dot capitalize. So you see, the moment I'm typing, the VS Code is automatically giving me support and help. Yes, capitalize s dot, I can say uppercase. This is another function. These are all inbuilt function. I can do lowercase, I can do swap case and length. So let me do lowercase, yes, swap case, and I can also calculate the length of the string. Length of the string. So length of the string. Len is a function in which you pass the string. So it will show you the capitalize, uppercase, lowercase, swap case, and length. So let's run. So you see, this is capitalize. First letter of the entire string is capital now, A. Then capitalize, Anubhav Roy, everything capital. Lowercase, yes, and swap case. So whatever is in uppercase will be swapped to lower, and whatever is in lowercase swapped to uppercase. Then length of the string is 14 characters. These are the different operations you can perform on a string. Now we can also play with the string by doing replacement. So let me just go back, and I will say working with the replacement. So I can say print s dot string dot replace. Please replace in my string. Wherever you see Oberoi, please replace it with trainer. I can also come back, and I can basically count the sub. So we can also check if a particular string contains a character or not. So let's say I can check if string dot starts with, is my string starts with Anubhav or not. Yes. So this is what I can check. So the return value will be a Boolean value, true or false. A Boolean value will be the return value. So that will be the Boolean value, return value. So starts with, then we can have ends with. Similarly, these operators and these things will be very helpful for you. So I say R. Is it ending with R? Trainer. Yes. Is my string ending with R? Trainer. I can split the string based on a character. Let's say I split it based on space. So space, Anubhav, trainer. So Anubhav separate, trainer separate. I can check, find a string, find a character inside a string. It will tell me the position where it has found. So I want to search Oberoi, OB, let's say. So in my name or BH, please check and find BH in the string. So Anubhav, ANUBHAV, BH. At what position in the string the BH is coming? It will find and tell me the character position of that particular thing. Yes. So does the string have a numeric character, or does it contain alphanumeric or not? Alphabetic. All that you can check. So you can also say is S dot is alpha. Alpha means it has number and character combination. So now I come back, run this. So watch out. So we start with this. You see string length is 14. That's okay. Now you see Anubhav Oberoi. Replace Oberoi with trainer. So you see now it is showing Anubhav trainer. Then next, is the string starts with Anubhav? Answer is true. Is the string ends with trainer? R? No, false. Guys, what happened is when it did replacement, it did it only here. It did not pass the value of replace string into the main string S. It did not modify the S. So that's why you're getting here false. That's why you're getting here false. So what you can do is you can say S equal to S dot replace. So now whatever value it replaces, it will pass back to S. Yeah. So this time you will get true again. Trainer, is it ends with, I'm not sure why it's not giving. And then you see it's not replacing actually. You see here it is still Oberoi. It didn't replace S dot replace with S. Okay, I'll show you that also later on, how to do this operation by memory. Now it will check if it is ending with R, which is not, so it's giving false. Then we split it by space. You see it has got me an array now. This is called an array. Array have multiple element. These arrays are known as list in the, this concept is known as list. Then we have the BH is Anubhav Oberoi have BH. Then we have false. So all this value, as you can see over here on the UI. So these are the different string operations which we can perform when it comes to Python. Now let's talk about array. We just saw that it produced an array. It's known as list in Python. So let me create one more program, 03, working with lists dot py. So what is a list? As you all know, a list is a collection which is ordered and changeable, allows duplicates also. Yeah, it is used to store multiple value of same data type, like array concept in school days when you used to study. So how to create a list? So we can say numbers, a list of numbers. I'll create a list of numbers. So let me put here 1 comma 3 comma 5 comma 2 comma 4. Yeah, this is a list of numbers. I'll also create a list of fruits. So let me add apple, banana, cherry, mango. This is a list of string values. String values. So now what I will do is I can go ahead and print the first item of the list. Yes, first item of the list. So the index always starts with 0. So list items are accessed via index. So this is the 0th item. This is the first item. This is second item. This is third item and so on. So this is how you access a element of a list. So let's access first element of the list. So print fruits bracket 0. It will print the first fruit. How to print the last element? It will by default print the last element. So let me come back and say -1. This will always print the last element of your list. The last element of our list. That's what it will do. Then we can have the total elements in the list. So fruits, again you use the length function, built-in function, and pass the fruits inside. This will tell you the total length. Now you can add also element to the list, but first let's test this much. So Python 03 list. So you see we have got first element apple, last element mango. There are totally 4 elements in the list. Nice. Now I want to add a element at the end in the list. So it's called append. Append means add element at the end. Append. Yes. Then we have add, remove element from the list. We can also insert at a index position. Yes. Then we can also change value of one element. So let me just add an element to the list. So I say fruits dot append, and I will add, let's say, guava. Yeah, I'll just put a star here so you will know this was added. Then we will remove an element. Let's say I want to remove, so fruits dot remove, and I will remove one of the fruit. So let me remove cherry. I will insert an element at a particular index. So I say fruits dot insert, and I will pass the index. Let's say I want to insert at position number 1. So 0, 1. So first position I want to add, and I'll say I want to add grapes. Now next I wanted to also replace one value with another value. So I say fruits of 0th element, which is apple, will now be replaced with blueberries. Let's print the fruit array. So print fruits array. So let's test now. So watch out what it does. Now you see, first we did what? We added guava at the end. You see guava was added at the end. Then we removed cherry. You see cherry is no more available in this whole list now. Then we added grape at position 1. So you see at position 1, 0, 1, 0th item, first item is grape. Rest all item have shifted. Then we replace the first item, which was apple, with blueberries. It is replacing apple with blueberries. So this is how you can work with list control. You can sort and reverse a list also. So we can sort and reverse also. So let's do the sorting. Fruits dot sort. It will by default sort in ascending order. You can do descending order by putting reverse equal to false, or reverse is true. So this is how you can sort in reverse order if you want. Then we can also reverse the whole like this also. Yes, after sorting, if you want to opposite, so whatever is the order 1 2 3 4 5, it will become 5 4 3 2 1. That is how we can do reverse also. So let's learn. And you see now first it sorted guava, blueberry, grape, banana, and then it reverse mango has come first. Yeah. This is how we work with the list control. Any questions so far? Okay, so after the list data type, we have the dictionary data type. What is a dictionary data type? Let's come back and talk that and add a new file. So everything I'm creating small files. It'll be easy for you to learn these small concepts of Python. So dictionaries. So what is a dictionary and what is the purpose of dictionary? Let's talk about that. So a dictionary is a collection which is unordered, changeable, and it is also indexed. So a list is basically ordered, but a dictionary is unordered, changeable, and indexed. Important thing is no duplicate is allowed. So in array, there was a duplicate which was possible, it was allowed, but in dictionary it is not. In dictionary, we also have key value pair. It operates with key value pair. So we can easy access elements. Let's learn an example. I want to create a dictionary called employee. So I say employee, curly braces. A dictionary always start with curly braces. And I say employee first name, Ananya, employee last name, Biswas, age 26, gender female. Yeah. So that is our employee dictionary. This is how you create a dictionary. How to read the value from dictionary. So you can access by its key. So you pass the key and that's how you can access the dictionary value. So print, I pass employee, array, bracket. So not array, but basically bracket and pass the key. Remember key, first name. I can also access last name. So the best part I love about VS Code, when you do control space, it is telling you what are all there inside dictionary. You see control space. Control space is your very good friend, which will tell you, yes, what to enter. So last name. I want to print last name. Makes sense. So let's come back and run this dictionary. Don't forget to save the file before running. I saw one student send me an email over the weekend. She created a Python file and she was saying, Anubhav, when I test output is not printing. She did not save the file. So if you do some change, you can notice that VS Code will add a bubble here. This bubble indicates that your file have some active changes which are not yet saved by you. You haven't saved those changes yet. Yeah. You haven't saved those changes yet. That is what it is telling us. Clear? So please be careful when you guys are doing it. Yes, please be careful when you guys are doing it. All right. So now we have got this value and our next step will be to just proceed further and save it. So the moment you save this, this dot will go away. It's gone and let's test it. So Python and then you do 04 and tab key. You can press tab key on your keyboard. You see like this. Enter. You see Ananya Biswas is printing from my dictionary. So those who work with JavaScript, dictionary is very similar to a JSON object in JavaScript. Now next one is called phone number. We can add a new property. Add new key value pair in dictionary. How? Employee, and I can add phone number for Ananya. I can say equals to some dummy number 555 like this. So this will add a new element. We can print all the keys of the dictionary. So I say print. My dictionary name is employee dot keys. So this will now print all the keys. So what are the keys? First name, last name, age, gender. These are the key values. These are the keys. So these are the keys it will print. Then I can also go ahead and get the items. From this. So employees dot items. It will print all the values inside those keys. Now you can also create another copy. You can copy a dictionary to another dictionary. So you can say I want to create another dictionary emp2, and I can say employee dot copy. Basically you're making a clone. You are cloning it. You are cloning it. And then what happens when you make the change to the first one, it will not reflect to the second one. So now what I will do in the second one, I will add an extra property called city. Let's say Boston. So this will, now I made a copy of an object to another object, and in that I put the value. Now I can also remove a value. So I can say a key permanently. So del function, del is a delete function. emp2, I want to delete a property called age from that. Yes. And then I can also delete the whole values, all the values, not the keys, but values. So you can use clear function, emp2 dot clear. So now let me go ahead and print employee emp2. So let's test one by one all these things. So first of all, I showed you adding the phone number. Then we check print all the keys, print all the items. So watch out. Here you see it is printing dictionary keys, first name, last name, age, gender, phone number. You see it's printing keys. Then it is printing items. So along with the value it is printing, you see this is my first item. My first name Ananya Viswas, and you see it has also got the phone number added, which we added at the end later on. Then we made a copy, and in the copied object we created a city. So let me also print that over here again before I clear, just so you can see. So the copied object, you see it has got a city. You see city Boston. And then I clear, when I clear, everything went off. Keys also went off, values also went off. Everything got cleared off. So this is how we can exactly create our object, or dictionaries in Python. This is how you can play with the dictionaries in Python. Now let's go ahead and create a dictionary and array. Combine a array list which we just learn along with dictionary. Can we do that? So it is possible. So we can combine a dictionary and list. So this is like an internal table. If you guys work with ABAP, internal table is a collection of values with multiple rows. So that's what I'm trying to do. So let me create a uh, a object called employee list. Yes, array symbol. And now I'll use curly braces inside. I can use employee ID, hundred, employee name, Anubhav, employee age, 36, employee gender, male. This is my one object, comma, my second item, comma, my third item, and so on. You can add multiple list items. So this is a list of dictionary. So let's put 200, 300, employee name, Megha, Sonia, 32, 22, email, like this. So now I've got a list of employees. Now let me show you accessing Megha's age. Yeah, how to do that? So employee, as you know, first you need to pass the key. First you need to pass the index. So mega is at index 0, 1, first index. So I reach to mega now. Now what I want, age of mega. So bracket again, the key. That is how you access the element within the array. Makes sense. So I can say print, and watch out. Let's print. So you see at the end 32, that's the age of mega. So this is very, very helpful at time when you really want to do very complex operations. You can utilize the concept of dictionaries with the array. Makes sense. Okay, next is coming to functions. Very, very important part. How to define a function. Function, as you all know, it's a reusable piece of code. So let's now go number 5.
Anubhav, one question here.
Yes, please.
So yeah, so here actually every like every name behaves a key or attribute, like
So
employee
this
ID
is
and
the
employee name.
zeroth item of your list. This is the first item of the list. This is the second item of
Okay,
your list. So first we are
this
starting
is
a
like
list here.
array.
Array.
Okay,
So this is the
yeah,
array. Now this whole thing is one of the item of the array. But this thing is itself a dictionary. So this is first dictionary, second dictionary, third dictionary. So we have added 3 dictionaries inside an array.
okay,
So in order to reach to the age of mega, first we need to start traversing my list. So what is mega? First item. So we need to reach here. This part will give you megas dictionary. Now I want within this dictionary, I want age of mega. So that is why I access the age property. Clear?
yeah, clear. So in this case, employee ID act as a key.
Yes, that will act as a key, of course. But to reach employee ID, each employee has a different employee ID. But each employee, if you see, is
Yeah,
part of the array. They
right.
are not same. They are not same. Okay, let's move on now to the next section. And our next section, what we will see, we will talk about functions. Very, very important concept, functions. So what is a function? So let's come back and create a function. So as you all know, what is a function in programming? A function is a block of code which only runs when called. Yes. So in Python, we we use indentation to describe function. We use indentation to describe function in Python. That's what we do. So let us define a function. So how do you define a function? Using a syntax called def. So we use a syntax called def to define a function. Very, very important. So using this, we can create a function. So let us go ahead and see that in action, how to create a function with def. So def, and I say hello. It's a function. I can pass parameter name. I can pass default value of the parameter. Let's say Sam. Now, usually in other programming languages, when you create function, you put curly braces and then inside this you will write all your code. But in Python, it's not like that. In Python, when you create a function, you always use indentation. So you see I just not start from the beginning. I do tab key. So this is where the code is. So more lines you can write like this, 1, 2, 3, all the codes. The moment you go here and start something here, this is the end of function. Yeah. The moment the fourth line is basically a end of function. Okay, guys, my laptop charger is not here. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll connect my laptop charger. Just stay online. Let me connect my charger.
Anubhav, we are not hear anything.
Sorry. So to create a function, we use a def is a keyword definition, space function name, then parenthesis parameters, then beginning of function will always be colon, and then all the code. So here, let's say line number 1, 2, 3, they're all part of function. But the moment you finish this indentation, line number 4 is considered as a end of function. Means line number 3 itself is considered as the end of function. Fourth line will not be considered as part of the function code because indentation is gone. So up to line 3 we have indentation, but after that we not. So this is now my function. It's a simple function. Name is also have a default value Sam. If I not pass, it will be initialized with Sam. Next, let's create another definition and I say get sum, and I can have number 1 and number 2. So now I have a function with two input parameter without default value. I say total equals to num1 plus num2. And then we can return. So this time a function have a return. Very nice. So that's the second function. So let's get the value equals to get some. How to call a function? Very easy. You see the moment I'm typing, it's showing me the function. VS Code is telling me function. So I pass 3 and 2. Result will be 5. Let's print the number, print the value. Also, I will convert this value to a string, and I can say I am Sam, I am, and I can concatenate, say hello. So say hello function is returning a printing a value. Yeah, we call that function. Then we converting the value which is coming to a string like this. So let's see, both the functions will get called. So first say hello get called, whatever value. Let me not print, let me return the value. So it will return me the value by passing the name into it. So it says I am hello Sam, arrow the value number summation 3 and 2. So let's go back and test. We saved it. So Python 05, and you see I am hello Sam 5. So it's calling both the functions, getting the value, concatenating the value, and printing it for the user. This is how you can work with function. Now function can be also written in a different way, where you can create a function on the fly with another syntax. These are called lambda functions. So what is a lambda function? A lambda function is a small function declared as a variable. So how you create a variable? Variable name equal to variable value. That is exactly how you create lambda function. It can only take any number of argument, but can only have one expression. Yes, it can take any number of inputs, but only have one expression. Exact one expression it has. Yes. So let's come back and see how to create a lambda function. So I can come and I say my function equals to. So you see the way you create variable name equal to variable value. Lambda. Lambda is a keyword in Python. I will pass numbers number 1 comma number 2. This is my argument colon. Colon says start of the function. And now this function can only have one line. This is a one line function. It cannot have multiple line. So here you can have multiple line. You see multiple lines. But in the lambda function, you exactly have one line. Yes. So let me say number 1 multiplied by number 2. That's the only line it can have. It cannot have more than one line. That's called lambda function. So let's print my function, I pass 10 and 3, and we should get the result as 30. You see, it's a lambda function. So a lambda function basically have exact one line of code. It cannot have more than one. Okay. Our next example is working with conditions. So every programming languages which we work, it has condition concept, right? So let's add a condition. So number 6, conditions dot py. And now if else conditions are used to determine the expression basically. So you decide whether an expression value is true or false, and based on that you decide what to do. So let me put a variable x equal to 21, y equal to 20. Now I can use first comparison operator. So I can say if x is greater than y colon, what to do? Print formatting x is greater than y. Yeah. So that is our first expression if condition. So of course x is greater than y, so it will go to the if part, it will print that line. So let me execute Python and space 06 tab, enter. You see 21 is greater than 20. Clear? Okay, 21 is greater than 20. Okay, next one we can say if else. So we just saw the if condition, but what about else condition? So we will do if and else together. So if the condition is true, it will go to the if part. If condition is false, it will go to the else part. Yes, that's what the system will do. Yeah, that's what the system will do, if and else. Okay, now let us go ahead and see this. If x is greater than y, print, and I can say x is greater than y, of course. If that's true, I can say else y is greater than x. And now let me change the value of y to 30 before running this. So let's go ahead and test this. And you can see 30 is greater than 21. It has gone to the else condition. If else condition. Yeah, it has gone to the else condition. So this is called comparison operator. We can compare. We can also put nested if. If inside if, it's called nested if. So what we will do is if x is greater than 2, if that is greater than 2, please check if x is also less than equal to 50. If both the conditions are satisfied, then we do print x is greater than 20, 2, but less than 50. Yes. So that is my nested if inside if have another if inside. So let us test this. So we should get the result. So you see 21 is greater than 2, but less than 50. So that is called nested if. Now usually if you just have a nested if, you can simplify this by using logical operator. You all know they are and, or are the logical operators which can check the which can check the logic conditions. So instead of writing two if, you can combine. So we can say if x is greater than 2 and, which is a logical operator, both conditions must fulfill. Okay, both condition must fulfill. And the second one is x is less than equal to 50. Yes. So this is called logical operator. So now we are doing logical operator with multiple conditions together. So once again, I can just say the same thing. So when both conditions satisfy only, then it will go to the if condition. If you use or, when one of the conditions satisfy, so let's say greater than 2 but less than equal to 3, but I do or. Sorry. So we come back, x is greater than 2 or less than 3. So you can see in this case, if one of the conditions satisfy, still they will be triggered. In this case, both condition must have to fulfill. So when you run, you see 21 is greater than 2 and less than, and I think it is better, and also it is less than 50. Yes, both conditions are fulfilling. That's why it's going. Here, one of the condition fulfilled means is it greater than 2? Yes, it is. It has gone inside the if condition. Yeah, it has gone inside. Though the 21 is not less than equal to 3, but still it is triggered by if condition because it's a logical operator or operator we are using. So then additionally, we can also use membership operator in if condition. These are used also in SAP DataSphere usually. They are used to check if a particular value is there inside an object or not. Let's say numbers. I'll put some random number. I put a dictionary 250, 300, 302, 55, 505 like this. And now what I can do, I can go and check if my x is part of it. So x was 21. Yeah, so let's also add 21. So I can say if x in numbers. If that expression is true, I can say print x in numbers. Yeah, so it should print true. So you see it is printing true. 21 is actually part of this list. So somewhere wherever the 21 comes, if it comes, then it is going to print return true. Expression will be true. So you see this expression is true, that's why it's printing true. This is how we can work with conditions in Python. Okay, let's take a break here. And on the other side of the break, we'll start with loops, modules, and the most important topic, working with pandas. Why pandas? What is pandas? Why we learn that? Because pandas is used in SAP DataSphere. Entire SAP DataSphere works on Python pandas. I'll explain that, don't worry. Let's take a break and we can join back after a short break. I'll be back after a short break. You guys can also take a break. Okay, everyone, please come back after the break. So before the break, we learned about the concept of variables, strings, lists, dictionaries, functions, and conditions. Now we'll talk about loops, modules, pandas, and also working with SAP DataSphere to integrate these scripts. So number 7, let's talk about loops. .py. So now we'll talk about how to working with loops in Python. So let's create, you all know what is a loop. A loop is used to iterate over a sequence, which is either a list, dictionary, or tuple. Yes, could be anything. We can loop. So repetitive work will be done by the loop. That is what we use the loop for all the repetitive work. We use the loop for all the repetitive work. So let us go ahead and see how to use a loop. So I come back and use a loop called, I create a object. We can use the same object which we created over here, this internal table, yeah, like a structure, and now I can loop. So I can say start a loop, record by record. So I can say for employee in employee list. So what it does, it will automatically start a loop. In the first loop pass, it will take the first record. This is my first record before comma. In this EMP object, it will put. Then we'll take the second record, put it in EMP object, and so on. One by one, it will do. Now, if the EMP is, if my record name, employee ID or employee name is Anubhav, I am comparing, let's say if it is Anubhav, what to do? We will print this whole record and then we will break the loop. So we will break the loop, and after you break the loop, you come out of if condition and then you print the data. So the loop will be broken. So the moment you find Anubhav, come out of the loop. So this loop, what you see, will be broken, and system will come out of the loop. And once it come out of the loop, we will say print what was the value which was there in the employee. So values were curly braces EMP. The whole employee value I will print the complete data. So it's basically we are looking some data inside the system. Yes, we are doing a lookup, and the moment we find that particular employee, which is Anubhav employee, we will come out of the loop. So let us go ahead and check this. I run it, number 7, and you see the values were employee ID 100, Anubhav, age and gender. So it was looping. The moment it encountered an employee with the name Anubhav, it has come out of the loop. And then we print the value. So break statement is used to break the loop based on condition. So it has come out, and by the time when it came out, this was the value which was stored in the our object when it was looping. Our loop counter was that value. Yes, cool. So this is how exactly you can test and check and compare all the objects and their corresponding values in the system. Very nice. Now next is we want to also do a loop, and I want to show you continue. So break will take you out of the loop, but continue will basically jump at the end of if condition and then it will continue the loop. So it will skip all the execution of further lines of code. So let me just show you the same repeat, but I will do continue. So what continue does, it ignores that line. The moment it find employee name Anubhav, yes, employee name Anubhav, it will ignore that. It will ignore that and it will proceed with the next one. So let us go ahead and check that. So you have to put it here at this line. So you see the moment I'm putting it here, it is showing grayed out, color is changing, which means this code will never execute. Should put it at if level. So what it will do now, watch out. You see the result of the first one was Anubhav, that's okay. But look at the result of second one. So maybe I will just also add a print, a little bit of dash 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 dash, so you can know what is the result coming out from the second call, from the second loop pass. So the second loop pass, when it started with 100. First employee was Anubhav, but the moment it encounter Anubhav, we say continue, jump, don't execute. Yeah, we say jump, don't execute. So it jumped and it went to, it did not execute the print statement. It jumped out to the second loop pass. It came again. This time employee name was not Anubhav. So it did not continue. It printed the value of our employee, which is Mega and Sonia. So as long as employee is Anubhav, it will not print that value. Remaining all the values it will print. Yes. Remaining all the values it will print. That is what it is doing. Makes sense. Clear? So this is the concept of working with the, with the loops, with the continue and break statement. How you loop a array. Now you can also do a loop with a fixed range. with a loop counter. With a fixed range, we can also loop. So I say for I in range length, I'm counting the length of my employee array. So emp list. Please check how many items are there in this. Yes. And then I'll print each item one by one. Employee list. Pass the loop counter, the I. Yes. And I can also print I here, str I. And I will put employee name. So what I'm doing is I'm looping based on the counter, and one by one each employee is being looped. I will print the loop counter, and I will print the value of the corresponding employee in that. So it will print 0, 1, 2, 3, and corresponding employee names it will print on the screen. So let's also add this guy so you'll know what is the output with the next statement. And you see now it is printing 0 Anubhav, 1 Mega, and 2 Sonia. So it is looping based on index. This is called index based looping. You can also do the loop with exact length. So instead of range, if you say I want to only loop uh, one time, yeah. So one time I want to loop. So it will just print the range. Sorry. So we can say I want to print between 0 to 1. It will loop 0th and first element. So now you see it is just printing the first element. One time it is looping. Starting with index 0, loop one time. So the moment it loops the first item, 0th item, one time is finished. So you say index from where you want to start the loop and how many time you want to loop. One time, two time, three time. Yes. If I say loop three time, it will print all the values. You see, it is looping one time, two time, three time. It is printing all the values. So this is how you can also pass the range with exact number of times you want to loop. There are also conditional loops. So let me also say conditional loops. Conditional loops are used for conditions. So let's say count equals to 0 while count is less than 10. We are going to process the counter. So what we will do, we will print the count. So it will, as long as count is less than 2, keep looping. And I say count plus equal to. So this is a unary operator which will basically increase the count after every loop pass. That's what system will do. Let's run this. So it is just doing a fixed count loop 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 9. So remember, loop counter always starts in Python with 0. In traditional programming languages which we work, the loop counter starts with 1. But here the loop counter starts with always 0. This is very, very important. Okay. Now, what is the next step? Our next step is to go ahead and talk about modules. So let's talk about modules. What is a module? A module is basically a file which is containing set of functions to include in our application. So let's say you are building a very big application, and in this big application you need many functions: add, subtract, divide, yes, so many functions. So will you write these functions again and again? Will every developer write this function again and again by themselves? Not a good choice, right? Not a good idea. So what we can do, we can create a module. We can use this module again and again and leverage this module for our future use cases. So that is what a module does. It's like a class. It's like a class, reusable class what you do, or a function module in a BAP which you do. It's a reusable, fully reusable. So you can create a module which you can reuse. Now the Python also provide lot of inbuilt modules also. There are a lot of inbuilt modules provided by Python which we can also leverage out of the box, like date time module, yes, Lot of modules are provided by Python. So let me first show you some of the core module which are automatically provided by Python. So I'll come back, add a new one, it modules.py. Let me show you first the datetime module which is provided out of the box by Python. So a module is a file containing set of functions to include in our app. We have core module. So import datetime. This is a module provided by Python. Now, when you use this module, you can use functions from this module. So the datetime module have a date class. So module is a collection of classes. It's like a library, and these classes can have further functions. So I want to print current date. Yeah. So I say today equals to datetime. So this is the module. It has a class called date class. You see, date class, and that has a function called today function. It will print today's date. So I say print today. So let us go ahead now and see this in action. And I say 08. You see it is printing today's date. Very good. So that is how you can get a module which is reusable. Now, if you want to get a class from a module, you can also do like this. From datetime module, I want to import only date class. Yes. Now, the benefit of this statement is you don't have to use whole date time. You can simply use date dot today. So it will make your code more easy to write, more easy to write. So date dot today. So here this we imported this class from this module. So you don't have to write a big code. Similarly, we have time module. So you can just go to Python documentation and you can check the list of modules. So I can say modules in Python. There are a lot of core modules. You see, many of them are there. So if you go to Python library, Python standard library, you can check there are many modules. There are data types. You see, this is what I taught you. Yes, working with strings, everything you can read here. This is the standard documentation of Python. So let me put this also in the documentation in our PPT. You guys can refer that. Okay, there are a lot of
Anubhav,
modules in the
Anubhav, can you also put the complete Python documentation, like one to one, one to n, if you have any?
this is the complete one, sir. This is complete. It
Okay.
has everything. Everything it has. Yeah, it has everything. Okay, now moving on. Let's talk about the custom module. So I want to create my own module. I wanted to go ahead and create a module which can validate email. So let's create a module first. So I can come back, create a new file. Let's call it as validator.py Python. Yes. And now I can go ahead and use validator.py. So what I will do is I will import a module called RE module. RE stands for regular expression. So import RE module, and then I can write a regular expression. So let me define a function. So I told you it's a module. Module have lot of functions inside. So I will add a function validate email, which will validate an email. It takes email as an input parameter, and it will validate if length of email, mean at least something was passed to me. So I'm checking if the length is greater than 7. So first of all, the length of email must be greater than 7, because usually every email have at the rate of something.com. Yes. So that has to at least make my email length greater than 7. Then only it is of course a true email. Then I say return Boolean value. I'm typecasting to Boolean value read dot match. Match is basically a function. And now I can pass a regular expression here for email. So I can just go to a website called regex. Yes, you can learn regex by W3C schools. If you want to learn regular expression, it's a very good tutorial where I learned the regular expressions from. They are used for conditional checkings, pattern matching. This is where we use regular expressions usually. Yeah, pattern matching, conditional expressions, all that we can use regular expression. I'll give the link also in the material. So I want to see a regex for email checking. Yes. So you see, this is the regular expression for checking an email. If the given number is an email or not, or given text is an email or not, that's a regular expression. You see, it should contain at the rate. It can start with any number or any character. It can have underscore. Yes, it should have at the rate, and then again some company, and then .com. Yes, so that's a regular expression to validate if it's an email or not. So I'll come back and put this regular expression, and now this is my reusable function inside a module. So validate.py is a module, and this one is a regular function. So I am checking re.match. This is my regular expression, comma on email. Email is my input. So hey computer, please check if this regular expression is matching with the email or not. Email regular expression or not. Based on that, we will return the Boolean value out. So this is my reusable module which has a function. Now what I'll do is I will just go back and use that module. So I created a module called validator module. I will reuse that module now. So come back here, and similarly we will say import my validator module. Very nice. And I can now also validate my function if I want, or I can directly use. So I can now pass a email equals to anubhav dot my email ID gmail.com. Now you see I'm intentionally doing a mistake. I'm not putting at the rate of inside this. Okay. So I say if validate validator dot validate email, and I pass this email what I just have here as a variable, and then I will just print the result on the, so I can say print is a valid email, else print is not a valid email. Is not a valid email. So that is what I am doing over here in the system. Yes. So now what we will do is we will just go ahead and just check this validate email if it is working or not. Yes. So now we will just use this, and this is our result. So the concept is not to validate email. The concept is to show you how to create a object. Yes, how to create an object. So let us go ahead and see this in action to create a validator and validate the email. So now I'm going to come back and test this. So you see, it's not a valid email. It's not a valid email. But now if I put at the rate of, yes, I should see it's a valid email. You can see it's still it is saying. So guys, my regular expression is not correct in that case. So it's calling my function, but this regular expression to validate email is not correct. Let me just go ahead and check the correct one. Regular expression for email validation. I think this is the correct one. Hopefully, let's give it a try. So I don't want to type a big one. Okay, let's give it a try, this one. Okay, let's come back and check. And yes, now it works. You see, it's a valid email. If I remove at the rate of and test, it's not a valid email. You see, this one is working fine. Yeah. Okay. So this is how the concept of module works. We can create a module with a function, and that module with the function can be reused again and again. Makes sense. All right. So after the module, we have the concept of, so we saw there are standard module like date, time and all. We can reuse that. Now moving to the most important concept in Python, which is relevant for data sphere. So now you learn basic Python. But the most important concept, which is also heavily used in DataSphere, is called pandas. What is pandas? Yes, it's a module. First of all, guys, pandas is a module provided by Python language. So Python provides this standard module called pandas. What is the use of pandas? It's a module which is provided by Python for data science, for data science and data manipulation. So that is what pandas is. It is a module. By the way, it's a module. 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. I need to connect my pen. Okay. So pandas is a module which is provided for data science activities. So what is the benefit of pandas module? So let's talk about it. In interview, somebody might ask you, pandas is a fast, powerful, flexible, and easy to use open source data analysis and manipulation tool built on top of Python programming language. Data science, it is used in data science. Now, what is data science? Data science is a field of engineering that deals with massive amount of data. So as you know, data science is a field of engineering which deals with massive data, focusing on analysis of data points and get meaningful answers over this data. So pandas is a module which makes data science very easy. Yes, with very few lines of code, you can process massive amount of data. For example, if I want to, if I have, let's say I have a simple data set. What's my use case today to learn pandas? I have a simple data set of temperature data from New York City or from USA cities. Yes, I want to use this data and I want to know in this data set what was the maximum temperature in the month of January. Example, on which day it rained. I want to know that. What is the average speed of wind? Yes. If I want to know all these questions on my data set, it will take a lot of time because I need to read the data, loop the data, query the data. Yes, you know, Panda can do this in just one line. One line, guys. One line. So let me go back and show you my data set. So this data set, I will also be making it available for all of you as part of our training. So when you go to data kits, I will be sharing this data set with all of you as part of our training. So let me just check my data set. I have a temperature data set available with me. In our data kit, I should have it. Just give me 1 second. Let me check it. I had it here. Allow me 1 second, guys. Let me find it. Did I keep it in data drive? Okay, I gotcha. It is in my downloads folder actually. I kept it by mistake in my downloads folder. So anyway, it's better that I will get it over here from my downloads folder to the data kit so that I can share this with you. So when I share the whole program with you, it will naturally come. So this is NYC weather. So I will be sharing this as part of our study material. What you got to do is you need to import that in the Explorer. So how do you do that? Simply go to your computer folder and drag and drop it on the directory. It has come. So let me open the sheet and explain you what do we want. So we have now, you see, this is our data set. Let me open the sheet. So we have time zone, we have temperature, we have dew point, humidity, sea level, visibility in miles, wind speed, precipitation, cloud coverage, events, whether it rain or not, and wind decrease. So all this information day wise I have it for New York City. Now I have this data in my Excel file. I want to do ask some questions to this data. When did it rain? What was the average wind speed? What was the average humidity? What was the maximum temperature on which day was the maximum temperature? Now you can ask these questions by creating a pivot table in Excel. But point one, SAP DataSphere doesn't allow manual Excel operations. Point one, yeah. Second thing, think about this data set is very small, maybe thousands of records. But in reality, in your DataSphere, you have trillions of records. Yes. So how do you process trillions upon records which are part of your DataSphere to ask this question? Because Excel will not support trillions of records, right? So what do we do? That's where the Python comes into picture and Pandas comes into picture. It will allow you to do mass data operation on massive data on trillions of records. Yeah, that is what it does. Okay, on trillions of records we can do the operations. So this is what Pandas will do. So let me go ahead and now first of all import this using Pandas. So Pandas is a library. You need to first install that library in Python. Now how do you install Pandas library? So to install that we use pip. Pip is called Python import package. PIP means Python import package. So we have to say pip Pandas. Pip install Pandas. It will go to internet. It will look forward for Panda module and download it in your computer. Wow, awesome stuff. So this is the very first step. This module is not there in your company, guys, in your company laptop or in your personal laptop. This module is available on the internet, on the internet. So what you have to use is you have to say pip install pandas. This is a very first step you have to follow. Okay. This is a very first step you have to follow. So you have to say pip install pandas. If you do not do this, it will give you the error. It will not allow us. Okay, it will give you the error. It will not allow us. So please be careful. You have to first install pandas library, which is Python library. After installing this, now we can start using it. So let's create a new program. Introduction to pandas. I think ninth one, pandas.py. Processing massive data in data science, processing massive data using pandas. So now I will say import pandas as PD. I am just giving an alias name, which makes my life easy to write the code. So now every time pandas I will not write, I'll just say PD. PD means pandas. Now first of all, I will get a data frame, read CSV function. I'll give the address of my file. So / current working directory NYC weather underscore weather CSV. So what it is doing, it is now uploading this data. When it uploads the data, it actually creates a data frame, df. Yeah. So we upload file or we read file using pandas. Function, inbuilt function, which returns a data frame. What is a data frame? What it does? So let's talk about data frame. In interview, somebody will ask you, these are all used in data sphere actually. So what is a data frame? Data frame are the main data objects in pandas. They represent two-dimensional data. Example simply guys, they represent a table, Excel, simple. Okay, they represent a table or a Excel. That is what the data frames understand. They just represent a table or a Excel. That is what the data frames understand. They are two-dimensional data. They represent two-dimensional data or a table. A table comes in form of row and column. So they have rows and columns. Makes our life easy to traverse and manipulate data directly without loop. This is the major difference guys between Python normal programming and using of data frames and pandas. Somebody might ask you, why are we using pandas in SAP DataSphere? Why can't you use normal Python? You can use normal Python, but in order to process massive data using normal Python, you have to do a lot of looping and complicated logic. Yes, complicated logic you have to use. That is the reason we avoid. That is the reason we avoid using the, yes, that is the reason we avoid using the normal Python. That is why we use pandas, because pandas gives you data frames. So now I have got a data frame. Let me print the data frame for you just to show you how it looks. And you see all the data should get imported and it should print. So Python 09, enter. It is taking time to print guys because it's a huge data, but hopefully it will print. No, it's not. So there is some problem. Line number 4, it cannot find our file path. Okay, let me right click on the file and say copy path. That is always better. Copy relative path, because I might have done typos. I might have done mistakes here. Yes. So I will put / current working directory, the file path. Let me try again. You see, it's printing. So I did a typo. So this is our entire data file. It's printing. You see, it has rows and columns. Yeah, that is what it has. Very good. So now what we can do is we can actually go ahead and work with this data frame. So remember one thing, when you work with SAP DataSphere, you will always work with data frames because SAP DataSphere integrated pandas automatically. Automatically they've integrated pandas. Okay. Now let us first access a column of first row. Access a column of first row. So I say print and I will say data frame. I want to access my column. So let's go back to Excel. I'll relate with Excel. This is my first column, EST. So I want to just print the whole column, EST. Yes. If you print it, you will get the first column value. You see, everything has come. Now I want to print this first date. So you see, this is 0th item. So you can come back and say 0. It will just print that date now. It will just print that date. So let's print. You see, it is just printing 1/1/2016. So this is how you print first columns, first row. So this is my first column name, first row. Now, what else? You can access the whole column. I already showed you. So print data frame, entire column. All the operations are array operations, guys. Let's say I want to access this events column. Run it. You see, events column. So none means not as null, because in Excel file these values are empty. That's why it is printing not as null. You can access multiple columns also together. So keep putting comma, next column name. So what is my next column name? Let's say visibility in miles. Then comma, what is my next column name? Let's say humidity. This one. So basically you are doing array operation on Excel directly. It is not Excel, but it is the data frame. So we say data frame events. Okay. Now since you're using multiple columns, it should be an array. So data frame access my elements. So it should be element, but now we are not accessing single element. Yes, we are not accessing single element. We are accessing multiple elements. So you have to pass them as a array. So 2-time array you have to use. Now watch out. You see, it is accessing multiple columns. So if you want to use multiple, always pass a list. Pass a list. This is a list of columns I want to access. Now, next is get the max value of temperature. Now I'm starting answering my business questions. Remember my business questions? What was the maximum temperature in the month of January? I want to know that. Yes, in the month of January. So I come back and I will just go ahead and say maximum temperature. So print data frame. I pass the temperature. This one. Dot max. Now what is dot max? It's an inbuilt function in pandas. Wow. So if you work with SQL, okay. So what we will do is we have the max. Yeah. So now we have the temperature and dot max. So we will get the maximum value of the temperature. So what it does, it will go to this temperature. It will check across all the values what is the maximum value. It will get it. If you work with SQL in the past, in SQL we had this concept, guys, which we use, right? Select aggregate function. Select max value from table, right? So it is equivalent of that. It is equivalent of that, but you are doing on a data frame object. Similarly, I want to know what are the dates on which it rained, right? That was my next question. So let's first run this one. Maximum temperature value. You see, it was 50. It was 50. Yes. Now this can be done on trillions of record within seconds, because that's what pandas does. That's what Python pandas does. That's why SAP integrated Python and pandas with Datasphere, because you can use pandas directly and get the answer of these questions without running heavy queries. With this, just easy to write code. Now next, get me the days on which it rained. Yes. So again come back. I want EST, the dates. When? When? What are the dates I want to get? When it rain. So let's put an array with a condition. What's my condition? My data frame events. If my entire data frame, wherever the events are rain, please get me those dates. Yes. Please get me from my data frame all the dates when it rain. When it rain. So this is equivalent of select date from table where condition. So I'm writing equivalent select so you can understand what is happening behind the scenes. So when I run, you see these are the dates it rain. You can also cross check first of 9th, 10th, 9th, 10th January, 16 January, and 27 January. So you can come back and you can see 9 January, 10 January, yes, 16 January, and also 27 January. These are the 4 dates you can see it has found out. Very nice. So with the click, with the just one single line, you're able to get the answer of complicated business questions on trillions of records. Now you can understand the power of why SAP DataSphere inculcated Python and this data frames and pandas. Okay, if you want to add a new column at runtime, let's say I want to increase the temperature multiplied by 100. So we can add a new column with calculations, including calculations. So I say data frame. I want to say new column Anubhav. I want to add a new column Anubhav at runtime. Data frame, take the temperature column multiplied by 100 and put it as a new column Anubhav. And now print the data frame again. So let me print the data frame. You will see now a new column Anubhav will be added and it will be multiplied by 100 of temperature. So if I come here on my terminal, there is a new column Anubhav you see. It's a multiplication of temperature. Multiplication of temperature. So temperature was 38. You see Anubhav value is 3800. Yes, 3600. So one zero is moving in the new line, guys, because the width of the screen is not that big. If I, yeah, now you can see. Yes, Anubhav was a new column added with that multiplication of 100 on a temperature. Cool, cool. Yeah. So that is how at runtime you can introduce new column. Think about it in a data processing in DataSphere. You can add a new column at runtime when you are running a data flow. Yes, you can do that. Now, if you remember, we also when we printing the dates, we were seeing the zero values. Yeah, zero values. We were seeing them. So what we can do, we can replace the zero value, not as a null value with zero. So let me first take a mean value of wind speed. So remember the third question, business question, what was the average wind speed? So let me come back and calculate that. So print data frame, just one line, guys, to answer, get an answer of complicated business questions. Just one line. This is the power of pandas and data frames. So get a mean value. That's all done. It will get an average value of all the, if you have trillions of records, on all the trillions of record, it will calculate the mean value within blink of an eye. Yes, that is the benefit you get. So let's see the value result. It is 6.89. But guys, what is happening if you see the wind speed, it has some blank values. Because of that, the mean value might get disturbed. Yes, so we want to consider this value as zero. Yeah, we want to say system, these values should be treated as zero. So what you can do is you can go back. So currently notice the mean is 6.89. So what I'll do now, I say data frame and fill NA. It's a function fill, not a null. Put it 0 in place true. So wherever we have a blank value, kindly replace with 0 in the entire data frame. And then we will recalculate the mean. You will see the mean will change actually. Yes, mean will change. So now you see mean is 6.22 because it is considering now those empty values as 0. So sometimes you might see that your result, what you are anticipating or expecting, is not up to the expectation. Yeah, not up to the expectation. In these situations, you will go with the replacement of these values with a 0. Makes sense. I hope it's clear, everybody, how to calculate. So this is the concept of data frame. I would want you to go back and practice this thoroughly in today's class, and in tomorrow's class I will show you how to use it heavily in SAP DataSphere. So we will do this, or let me just okay, let me show it tomorrow. Tomorrow's class will see how to use this concept of data frame and pandas in SAP Datasphere. That is for tomorrow we will do for sure. Okay, so please practice this today at your home. This is a very important concept when it comes to working with data frame. I'll show you more advanced features of data frame in next class. Then we will go and integrate it with SAP Datasphere and Python. Any questions before we close today's class on pandas, on data frame? Please feel free to ask at this time.
Hi, Anubhav.
Yes.
This is Hari. Not regarding this thing, but when we migrate from BW to DataSphere, so how the code, other code will be converted into Python, or it will remain same? How it will be?
So that is something which is a advanced topic we will discuss later on.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No problem. Yeah.
Anubhav, how do we do debug here?
Sorry.
How do we perform debug?
So debug, I'll also cover it in when I teach data flow tomorrow.
Anubhav, sorry, I just joined this course recently only. What I understood, like DataSphere, what you mentioned is like software as a service. But when we check in the URL link, it shows DWAS. So which means it's a data warehouse as a service.
Yes, it's a data warehouse as a service. Correct. So the old name was Data Warehouse Cloud, and the new name is DataSphere.
So old one, it was a software as a service, right? The
Both were software as a service only.
Okay.
Hi, Anubhav. This is Rambabu.
Yes, please.
When I try to access analytics models through Analyzer, it is only showing within SCSE models. It is not showing any models from data warehouse. Is there anything configuration needs to be done for that?
Yes, there has to be SSO configuration which needs to be done as part of our DataSphere account. Analytic Cloud account to DataSphere account, and that is not possible in the trial account which we are using. So
yeah, before creating any story, just want to check whether it is working.
I understood
fine
your
or
point.
not.
I also tried that. It was not possible because we are all using trial account. So in a productive account, it will be possible.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yesterday I tried to check that when we are creating a hierarchy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So in the trial account, it is not possible, sir. But later on, when we go with productive account, it will be possible. By the way, guys, this entire source code, what you see, I will be sharing a zip file of that as part of our study material. You guys can download that zip file and practice all what we learned on Python basics today. Okay. So next class, we will learn about more on data frames in detail, more advanced operations on data frames. And then I will talk about looping on data frame, working with dates on data frame, transforming the data. And then we will go to DataSphere. And there we will use the data frames and the pandas to integrate and build our business logic accordingly. Thank you so much once again. See you in the next class.